turning back.
Welcome back. First week of March.
Wow. Lost Boy Scouts podcast. Here we
Here
are.
go. Let's do it.
We are on a roll,
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah.
What a crazy couple weeks for myself.
Good.
It was fun.
What did you? We got to get the download on Mexico. How was Mexico?
Mexico was the best trip that I've ever been on.
Nice.
The best trip that we've ever had.
And they let you back in the country.
They let me back in.
Yeah.
So, man, we left on Thursday. So I think it's Thursday. I mean, my days are so.
Yeah.
My days are
You're
so. When I
jet
tell
lagged.
you what I've been doing the last couple of days, Tyler, and what my plan is, you're gonna shit your pants. But we left on Thursday morning. Misty and I packed everything that we could, and she brought a big freaking suitcase because she was planning to buy some souvenirs that she had wanted to get there anyways, you know.
Yeah.
So she had her idea of what she was going to get. So she took an extra bag that she could pack up, which, by the way, we did pack full of stuff. And we leave on Thursday and we get into Mexico. And, man, it's like the smoothest transition. We get to the airport. We get onto our plane. We're there. We're chilling. Misty has some business stuff that she's doing. It was so awesome. She's on her computer. Looks like this businesswoman because she's fully invested in what she's doing in her job now. And it was awesome. We landed and there's no line. Literally no line. We get to Mexico, get to customs, not a single person in line.
Wow.
Misty and I go there, and the first thing that I should have recognized was my passport picture doesn't have myself with a big beard. So the lady looks at my passport and she's like, you got to go there because you don't look like your passport picture. So we stand in line there, quickly go through, and we're waiting. Get our bags, and when you go through Mexico, you have to go through a second set of security features that they scan your bag.
Mm-hmm.
They scan my bag, and they go through the whole thing. They open all of my stuff, and they're going through everything. And Misty, I love her so much, but she starts to get so anxious and so like, oh my gosh, they're gonna stop you. I told you not to bring that stuff. I told you shouldn't have bring that stuff. And she's yelling at me, and I'm like, Miss, same
down.
team, same teamwork. It's okay. And it was fine. I mean, it was because I had a BCAA container that wasn't opened, so that's why they were looking at that stuff. It's powder. So they want to make sure I'm not bringing drugs and stuff in there. I mean, that's not where I'd put it. I'd put it in my God pocket my human pocket.
Your prison wallet.
My prison wallet. Yeah. Like that's not where I'm putting it, buddy. I know the rules. I've watched movies. I'm keystering that shit. So we go out and, dude, it was insane. So I had forgotten, we had planned to have myself, Misty, my brother, his wife, my sister, and her husband. At the last second, my brother was not able to go, but we were like, at that point, you should just get a limo because it's cheaper to go to the hotel. Well, I forgot that. So we get there and there's a guy holding a sign that says Ocaña on there. We're like, what the heck, dude? And so we go there and I'm like, oh, I forgot. We have a limo. And dude, they pull up with this limo that's pimped out. And all the guys there, because they see my ears, they're like, UFC fighter, UFC fighter, UFC fighter. They want my Instagram, and they're getting all my Instagram stuff. It was insane. We get in there on the limo, and the dude brings a cooler of beer. And
nice.
That started off the weekend, or the week. We were there for 8 days. It was by far the coolest trip. My friend Arturo, shout out to Arturo and his family, and the Solmar Resort. Bro, they treated us like kings. I mean, like, he took us out 3 or 4 times to go do things. We went to a soccer game, and we're driving at 9 o'clock at night through Cabo, and he takes us to this compound that's gated. Big, huge cement walls, and we're like, what in the world? Bro, we walk in there, and we are literally the only Americans, and my brother-in-law and Misty, only white people in there. Everybody speaks Spanish, and there's a bunch of people in there, and they're talking to us. They want to know who we are, what we're doing. They were so happy that we were there watching the game for them. And
Yeah.
Arturo is playing, and he's the only one that really speaks
Yeah.
a little bit of English. His family doesn't speak English.
Oh.
And so people are talking to us, and we're overwhelmed because it's like the second day. I'm not in Spanish speaking mode.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It takes me a couple of days to warm up to get my mind to, because I have to think, translate, speak.
Yeah.
I can't just speak. I have to think about what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
In my mind, translate it. Sometimes use Google Translate to double check what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
To get the phonics,
Yeah.
sometimes.
Phonetically,
And it was, but dude, the game was cool. I mean, it was fun. There's some shit talking amongst each other. Arturo got all he was him and a guy got into a little bit of a shoving match, and the experience was insane, Tyler. So whale watching,
oh wow,
is going on. Usually you can see the whales, pretty good far off the distance. They were 5 feet off the shore, swimming 5 feet off the shore. These big gray whales, 30, 40, 50 feet.
It's incredible.
And they're swimming 5 feet off the shore. Literally, it feels like you could touch them.
It's so incredible.
Then the humpbacks were still there, and they're jumping around and they're doing their thing right off the beach of where we're staying. We went on a catamaran.
Oh, that's cool.
Seen sea turtles, seen whales, seen breaching manta rays. So manta rays,
like a sea cow.
Manta rays are manta rays
Manta
are
rays, the ray. Okay, yeah,
and the weird fit with the weird face on the bottom.
Yeah.
They're jumping out of the water. They were jumping right in front of us. They're jumping out of the water.
Dang.
And we were and the guy, of course, he's like, "This doesn't really happen. This is usually over by now, but yeah, it's happening." And I mean, they're just jumping all over the place.
It's crazy.
Story after story after story of just amazing experiences. Talking, deciding okay, is this a possibility to live down there 6 months of the year? I still think it is. I do think it's in mine and Misty's cards to be able to stay there. How? I don't know. I mean, she's so invested in the business that she's working for right now.
Yeah.
And it would be really hard because she loves it so much right now. So it would be really hard to leave for 6 months.
Yeah.
But I do think it's in our cards eventually. I do think that Arturo and his family are going to try to come to Utah.
Oh, wow.
At some point.
Cool.
And of course, we'll help them as much as we can to get them to come stay with us in Utah. And they're great. They're amazing. He was telling us story after story after story. He gave me this, if you're on YouTube, you'll be able to see it, but he gave me this necklace that's braided.
Oh, cool.
Every time I see him and he has one on, I always tell Misty, man, I'm going to ask him where he gets it. Anyways, what happens is they go on a trek in Jalisco, Mexico. Okay. His family goes on a 2-day trek to a church. And during that, they do praying and they do that kind of stuff. And they pick up these items. It's the Mary. And then I'm not exactly sure what this is. I think this is their sign. He's from a little town in Jalisco, so I think this is their sign.
Oh, okay.
It's like their crest. And I was talking to him about it, and I was like, man, I want one day to grab one. And he's like, I got some extras. He brought them out, and he brought out some other trinkets and stuff, and he was giving them to us, and he was so excited to talk about his family's farm. He actually invited us to his family's farm, but it's it would be scary to me to do that kind of a thing because you fly to Cabo and then take a little small plane to Jalisco, and then we would travel to his family's ranch.
Oh, interesting.
But I mean, you hear all these scary stories of that kind of thing. And we would be with his family, but it's like, man, we're, you're so far outside of your comfort zone at that point. So I don't know, but the trip overall, hands down, amazing. We had such a good time. Only one night, me and Matt got into trouble, and not so much trouble. It's just that we started drinking tequila at 10 o'clock in the morning, Tyler. Right?
Yeah.
And Misty's like, yeah, I don't remember too much and I wake up and I was like, oh my God, am I in trouble? And she's like, no, not with me, but your sister got a little mad at you. And I was like, well, why? And she's like, I mean, I just probably got a little lippy and I just wasn't sounding like myself. And
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
Tequila Danny. It wasn't
Yeah.
And Misty's like, you weren't being mean or anything. You were just kind of being a jerk and you weren't seeing her side, which usually I do, right?
Yeah.
And so she's like, yeah, you took a shot. And then we came upstairs. It was 5:00 in the afternoon and I had passed out. And I passed out at 5, woke up at 7:00
the next morning.
The next day. I didn't feel like crap because I was tequila,
Yeah.
Only one morning, we drank a little too much too late in the night.
Yeah.
So I woke up kind of crappy feeling in the morning.
It's nothing like, I don't know. I'm just at an age where being hungover
it's not fun.
There's nothing good about it.
Yeah. No bad experiences.
Good.
Man, I can't tell you enough, like how many stories, like I've got so many stories. Every day was something new that was just like more exciting than the day before,
I love that for you.
And it was awesome. Misty and I had a really good time. We came back really rejuvenated. I currently have trained every day since I got back.
That's awesome.
Every single day.
That's
every
awesome.
day. The only today I didn't do an open mat, but I've done every day. So I did Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Today's Tuesday. And my plan is to do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and do 8 or 9 days, maybe 10 days in a row of training. And I've got it. And I'm like pretty excited about like training every day.
Good.
So
body feels good. Body feels like it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still banged up from the camp in a certain. I've got a groin pull a little bit that I've got to be really careful with because, like, I'm supposed to be Chris Lengel's partner for the blue belt test.
Yeah.
Today we were doing the white to blue review, and there's a couple of moves that I was like, "Ooh, I got to be careful with that," or maybe I'll just have Trip jump in and be his partner because he's really good about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I can't begin to tell you how lucky I am to have those kind of moments in my life, And, I've been talking about this mantra that I've been believing lately of like, this is not the best day of my life. Like the best day of my life is to come yet. This is just a moment instead of people going, oh, what's the next bad thing that's going to happen to me? What's the next bad thing?
Yeah.
My mantra has been, what's the next greatest thing that I'm going to experience? And that's how that vacation was. It was like, what's the next best thing? Oh my gosh, we're going to experience this. And I'm really starting to believe that you can manifest things that into your life, and it's really hard in Utah sometimes to be stoked, like we've talked about when it's gray.
Oh yeah, the weather, the week you were gone, you missed the perfect week,
bro,
to be gone.
And then I got home and it was like 50 degrees, and then today it was snowing, and I was like, "What the heck of your mind?"
It's been kind of bipolar, but that week you were gone was definitely like we woke up. That Monday, the first Monday you were gone because you left that Thursday. That Monday, I woke up, forgot it was a holiday.
Oh, yeah.
And I started working. My boss calls me. He's like, we have the day off, right? And I was like, oh, we do? Dang. And so I went back to bed.
Oh, dang it.
And it was like snowing and miserable. And I was like, maybe I'll get the snowshoes out. And then I was like, I don't even want to leave the house.
Yeah.
I've been struggling with some just like overall gut health. Like I've never really paid a lot of attention to my gut health, but I've been feeling like just nauseous lately.
Really?
Like, and I haven't really been able to pinpoint. Like I've been trying to do some intermittent fasting, trying to change up my diet, trying to like just get older and be more wise about what I'm eating, when I'm eating, how I eat. And for whatever reason, I've just been kind of struggling with some like retrograde, like nausea, like just not feeling great.
Gut health is the worst for people, I think. Like, me, I struggle with it every day. Like I have to watch what I eat every day.
Yeah.
I tried intermittent fasting, and it was really, really bad for me because I think the doctor told me that I had built up so much acid that like I had to go through a couple months of trying to get it back under control. Intermittent fasting didn't work for me. Yeah,
I was intermittent fasting. I had like horrible heartburn. Like all of a sudden I'm like, I don't know. So getting older sucks. Getting older sucks, but I did quite a bit of training.
Yeah.
School has been, just full bore.
Yeah.
Work has been full bore.
Did I already ask you if you were to put in a timeline of when you'll have your masters? When will you if you put it in a timeline, when could you potentially have your masters?
I am hoping that my masters will be complete this time next year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
This time next year. Yeah.
That's pretty
That
cool.
doesn't necessarily mean I'll be done with like the clinical, you know.
You have to get published and all that, right?
Yeah. You got to do 3,000 hours of clinical hand holding. And so my hope is that I can start that near the end of the summer.
Oh, okay.
And start getting those hours where I'm because the ultimate goal is, right, to become independently focused, right? You have to have a supervising therapist that you work under for those.
Can you do that as you're in class, like as on the job training type stuff?
Yeah, you can.
You can.
Yeah,
that's good.
And as soon as I finish there's a few certain classes I need to finish in order to get that, to be able to be prepared to do that, because you also have to start the licensure process with the state at that time. I've been reading some crazy stories too. Just some crazy stories. Like Utah has like some crazy, true crime stuff that's gone on lately.
Bro, this shit with this lady that was the podcaster, YouTube lady that
did I send you that?
Yeah.
Or the Ruby Frankie, and then
that one.
Ruby Frankie is
Bro, that is insane.
It is really insane.
I read a little bit of a news thing today that I was like, this bitch is crazy.
Right?
I mean, I watched a little clip where she's talking to her kid and she's like, you will be happy when I tell you to be happy. And on the kid's face is like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh. And you could just see that this kid is beat up.
Oh, yeah.
And she had so many followers that were so into what she was saying. And it was such a false. It was so false.
It was weird. So there's a new Netflix documentary about Ruby Frankie. On Hulu.
Yep.
And Jody Hildebrandt.
Yeah.
Jody Hildebrandt is a therapist who had lost her license.
She's the people that she would put you in the bag and stuff and like rebirth type shit.
Yeah, she was also like in the Hulu thing. She is like, there's pictures of her possessed where she's like, blah, blah, blah. And it's funny because like I'm telling my children, I'm like, actually the LDS Church has a long history of speaking in tongues.
Yeah,
like from its early foundations, the LDS Church was really into that. But this is like the demonic possession is biblical, right? There's so it threw me down this path, because on the other end of that, I sent you that podcast, the last podcast on the left. If you don't listen to it, it's one of my favorites.
Funny as shit.
They're covering the Chad Daybell and
Lori
Vallow, which is another Mormon true crime issue up in Rexburg, Idaho, from a couple years ago.
And she lived in Daybreak in Utah, that lady.
Yeah,
when she left her husband, I guess the one.
And it's messed up. And very, very unfortunately, the Daybell Vallow, it ended in the tragic death of two children and some spouses, and obviously not ideal. But it just kind of threw me down this wormhole. Like, what connects these two? And it turns out that it's a book. There's a book. That was written by a notable therapist here in Utah.
Okay.
That is the common denominator between Tim Ballard, between Jody Hildebrandt, and between Chad and Lori Daybell. And it's called Visions of Glory.
Okay.
Written by Tom Harrison.
Okay.
I didn't know this when I first came to town. I actually know Tom Harrison's son.
Okay.
And they've like disavowed him. But what's interesting is that they have not, the church itself has not stepped out and disavowed this book.
Yeah.
And the book is not doctrinal, but there is from what I'm reading, like from what I studied on Mormon stories, from what I listened to and just kind of my own research, that like there is this theme of demonic possession, of visions after, like, I didn't realize that like, what's his name? Underground Railroad dude was doing ketamine and having like, he thought he was talking to different prophets and, and different angels and stuff like that. This dude. And meanwhile, we're all watching this movie on this guy, this Tim Ballard guy.
Yeah, the guy that was the guy that got into trouble because he was like swinging parties for the sexual trafficking type stuff. Yeah, that dude's a kook too.
Yeah, he is. He's a way kooky.
Yeah. Those guys are kooky.
So all three of those major crime, true crime, Mormon true crime, they all have the this kind of underlying book that they've all read. It's actually
don't read it, Tyler. I don't want you to read it because
I don't want to read it.
I just
I don't want to read it. Honestly, I listened to Dr. John DeLynn and his crew at Mormon Stories. They did a really good job. They did about a 7-hour breakdown of the book and these 3 cases. And I listened to that, and I'm like that's where I'm going to put it.
I've been to a church. I think I've told you this before. I've been to a church where they started speaking in tongues and people passing out. And I remember 2 churches, and I think I've talked about these. Maybe I haven't. Maybe I don't know. I've told so many people these stories, but I think I've told you these stories, Tyler. My mom's sisters, they both were very Christian, right? We grew up Catholic, and my mom was having some questions about the church, and so her sisters wanted to take my mom and her kids to their church. They wanted to show her the churches, and they wanted to get show my mom. And my mom was like, okay, cool. Well, my mom was, my dad had left, and my mom was
open-minded, and yeah.
So we go to Vegas, and we go to this church with my aunt. We get there, and church starts out singing, and next thing you know, they start bringing some snakes out.
Ooh,
and they're walking the hall, the walkways with these snakes, and they're doing this crazy shit, right? And I'm like, whoa! I'm old enough that I'm like, I'm laughing, right? My mom is furious, bro, because my brothers and sisters are little, and they are crying, and they're scared, and they a couple people go up to the pulpit where the guy is at, and he's touching their head, and they fall, and they're shaking on the ground and all this shit, dude. And my mom is she yells at her sister, and I'm not gonna say her sister's name, and she is like, what in the world? Why would you take us to this? And she's like, well, I just thought you would like it, Linda. And my mom's like, no. So we leave, and my mom is like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to put my kids in therapy. And the other time is around Easter. We go to this church with my mom's other sister in Arizona, and she's like, yeah, they're gonna do a replay of when Jesus carries the cross, and they're gonna replay that kind of a thing. It's gonna be really nice. Okay. It's a kids program. My mom's sister says it's a kid program. It's gonna be nice. The kids will sit up at the front, and they'll replay it, and they'll talk about it. It will be good, dude. They strap this dude to a cross, and he walks it. He's got a thorn crown on his head. He's bleeding, and they start whipping the shit out of him. Whipping the shit out of him,
watching
bro.
The Passions of the Christ in live action.
Passions of the Christ. We go run. My mom is like, we go running out of there, and she's like, I cannot. These things are so vivid in my mind. But I was old enough that I thought, oh, that shit was so funny. But when they were whooping his ass, I was like, get him, hit him again.
That's insane. I used to love, so obviously, if you've listened to the podcast for a while, you know that I grew up in the LDS church. I served a mission, did the whole temple thing, and as I've been going through, obviously, my own therapeutic journey and kind of researching the backstory and history on the church, I just realized that for me, doctrinally, God and the church was never the attachment figure that I needed. Sure. What I was drawn to was the community of the people.
Sure.
And because the community was a safe space. And so that is really what I hold sacred in my LDS heritage, is the community that kind of helped raised me up
Sure.
when things at home weren't necessarily all that.
And
all
you can
that
always
solid.
find it somewhere, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can always go somewhere and find. I've told you this before. Like in the military, you on Sunday, you know,
Yep.
you're one day up to yourself.
Yep.
The first thing you hear is go to church because you get away from.
Yep.
And it always brings you back to the fact that like it's a community,
right into a community. And so I won't fault it for that. You know, there's just so much interesting when you go back to like early religions and the time the LDS church was founded. Like, can you imagine like the holy rollers? Like the holy rollers, you saw that. Like,
Yeah,
I'd
dude.
love to go to like, that was my favorite thing to do. I would always get companions that were like, they wanted to just go to our services. And I'm like, we're not going to our services. We're going to like the Catholic service, or we're going to like this denominational. We're just worshiping with these people. Like we're just getting in the community. And to me, that was how I like to actually proselyte and was just by going. And I never got those cool,
dude,
cool experiences
awesome.
with snakes.
When I tell you that my mom was mad.
Yeah.
It was just seeing that dude get his ass whooped. I was like, oh my goodness.
Have you watched The Righteous Gemstones?
No.
Oh, it's on HBO. It is 4 seasons. They're just about to start season 4. It is one of the funniest TV shows you can watch on HBO. Like it is, it's hilarious. 30-minute episodes. It's got Walter Goggins. He's one of the writers. It's got God, what is that guy from Eastbound and Down?
Oh, the like Kenny Powers guy.
Kenny Powers guy. Yeah, John Goodman's in it.
Oh yeah.
It's just hilarious. It's a hilarious take on kind of evangelical religions.
That's awesome.
And like they own this like mega church, right? They own this mega church, and it's just kind of like
it's you know, like I have a good relationship with my spirituality, right? I know what I believe in. I know how I feel about it.
Yeah.
I know that I pray. I know that I make the sign of the cross when I'm driving because I want some sort of guidance. My boys, both of them, are working on how they feel about things, you know, and I always tell them, just be open-minded and not closed-minded about it, right? Because it doesn't matter to like have something else that's higher than you, more powerful than you.
Mm-hmm.
But I was listening to Elon Musk today on Joe Rogan, and he was talking about going to Mars, and I was like, that's how religions start, man. He's gonna go over to Mars, and he's gonna be some billionaire, and he's gonna start some religion. Next thing you know, you and I are gonna have to go to Mars in 30 years, and we're gonna get there. We're gonna be like, oh man, first thing you have to do is get baptized or some weird shit, you know?
Yeah,
and it'll be interesting time. And he said 30 years. 30 years that they figure that we'll be transporting the community to Mars. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
It takes you 6 months to get there.
Really?
It'll take you 6 months to get to Mars because of the travel time.
Dang.
Not weird.
That is so weird.
That dude is a monster. Like that dude is a weird dude. But sometimes he says some things that I'm like, oh, you can't say that. You can't say that. You can if you got a touch of the tism. Yeah, it's true. Like and then other times it's like, oh, these guys are just kooks.
Yeah.
And our time right now is just insane, right? Like, you know, like to be who we are in this moment,
right?
To have the opinions that we have, because yours and I's opinions and the way we think is not very far off from each other. Sure. Sometimes we have some like tiny bit of disagreements with things, but for the most part, we believe in each other. We believe in what we say, right? But you have disagreements with people, right? And you have these things that you're like, I don't agree with you, and if you're not careful, some people, some of your friends, could really, really critique some of the things that you say if you do not align with what they say, right?
It's gotten so crazy out there. It's gotten like, I don't know if anybody spent any time on social media. I just left a bunch of groups that I was in on social media because it got so polarized, so toxic, right? And I think we talked about this a little bit on the last episode, but you know, I actually had a female listener reach out to me and say, like we were having a bit of a disagreement. And she said, you want to be met on the mat. I think she listens to the podcast. I'm like, yes, that is a common trope we issue to the other men in our community. That is a challenge to the men in our community that disagree with us.
And it's not like a call of like, you disagree with me, come, let's go fight.
Right.
But people, and especially listeners, could take that as you being a toxic male personality who thinks that that's the way to handle things, is to fight on the mat. That's not what we're doing.
Right.
Literally, when we say come see us on the mat, is probably just to get more people on the mat.
Yeah. Right.
And like, but we have this agreement that we can do. We can both smack hands, bump fists, and now we can go. And maybe we figure it out. Maybe I figure out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right.
I have relationships at work, sometimes that I'm like, you would never talk to me like that.
Yeah.
In any other environment, but because we're at work.
Right.
And you have this safety net.
It's interesting. It's such a false sense of safety.
Yeah, it is.
It really is. Like, I love women, don't get me wrong, but like seems to be a lot of projection on men these days that like we're these dangerous, like we need to villainize. You villainize one, you villainize them all. Fuck the patriarchy. And I'm like, well, that like there is like this natural law, right? Like that if there is somebody bigger than you, if there's somebody that is more capable than you, and you have something that they want, strip off all of the facade of the modern laws and protections that we have. That person's taking that shit from you. Right? He's taking
for sure.
It. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's me or somebody else. Like if there's somebody bigger or a bigger group and that you have something that they want, they will take it.
They'll take it. Yeah.
They will take it.
I agree with you. And you get this. I mean, for somebody to say I mean, like I said, we say it where it's a funny thing to say at the end of the mat or the end of the podcast because we enjoy it.
Right.
But, at the end of the day, like you will stand on business, right? And you will defend yourself if you have to, right? But that's not like really what we mean until we mean it. And if you give negative feedback and you give negative energy, if I walk into somewhere and all I'm doing is staring at Tyler and I'm staring at you, but I have nothing to say.
Right.
Nothing to say, but I'm just staring at you and you're like, what? Right? If you take that tone with somebody and they're like, oh, Tyler, why are you so why are you so mean? Why are you so? It's like, no, it's just a reaction, right? I sent Misty this funny thing. It's this, it's a group of guys talking with one girl, and some caller calls in, and he's talking about how when Adam and Eve were made. Have you seen this? And he says, where Adam and Eve is there, and he's like, oh, we have this life, we can do these great things, and look, all we have to do is just spend time with each other. We just have to like, look, we can just enjoy this, just you and I.
Yeah.
Eve, just you and I. And Eve goes, yeah, that's not enough. Right?
Yeah.
Because women have that idea of like, oh, there's more. What there's more.
Yeah.
And these guys start laughing, and the girl's sitting there, and she's like, she's just sitting there, and they're like, you didn't find that funny? She goes, no, I was waiting for something else to say. And it was like literally just showed what they were talking about. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that we love all of our listeners.
Sure.
But if you take wrong what we say,
right,
it's not toxic.
Right.
It just may be a disagreement. It may be just we don't agree. Like we don't see eye to eye. You can't, you can't project your own feelings on me because as a man, I can't understand what you're going through. Like I don't know what I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
I don't know what you're feeling.
Right.
And if you're not my wife, I probably don't really care, honestly.
Right.
If you're not my companion or somebody like your daughters, if it's not somebody that you care about, you're probably like, I don't know what you want me to do. I can't help you in this situation.
Well, I think that's the clear distinction, right? With the feminine, and really with most men, I'm seeking to understand. I want to understand, right, before I make an assumption. Unless you cross a line, I was watching or reading something, and it's like, if you have a gun and I have a gun, we have the truth. right? If I have a knife and you have a knife, then we have, a negotiation. If I have my fists and you have your fists, then we can have a conversation. But if I have a gun and you have a knife, then we've got a whole different dynamic.
Yeah, that's unequal.
An unequal dynamic that we have to negotiate through.
Right.
And we're almost always at that level. And so when this person told me that, like, hey, you want to meet on the mat, that doesn't mean that I'm like revved up for confrontation all the time.
Yeah.
No, I'm not geared up for confrontation. Definitely my boundaries are in place.
Sure.
And you can attempt to cross my boundaries, but personally for me, boundaries are bridges that build connection. And so what I want to do is I want to seek to understand. I want to see what is different, but I'm at a point in my life where your words don't mean shit to me.
Right.
Your words mean jack shit to me. I don't care if you've got 1 billion followers on Instagram and millions of followers on Substack. If you aren't acting what you are preaching, if you are not acting the way that you are speaking, I could give 2 fucks.
True.
Your words mean nothing. Show me.
Sure.
Show me.
Yeah. And I think sometimes, like for myself, like I see the environment I'm in, and maybe I'm not as like, let's say I'm with my friends who are all jiu-jitsu players, right? And we're all like happy-go-lucky golden retrievers, for the most part, until you're not, and then you're all hanging out. But let's say I'm around people who don't train, who don't have that mentality of like keeping aware of your surroundings, like Professor talks about, like know your surroundings. Do you walk into a room and see where the exits are at? Do you see who the crazy looking person is? Do you see where the person talking loud is? Do you notice those things? I don't, as much as some people that I've been with, that I'm like, this dude is 100% viewing the room as which person am I taking out first?
Yeah.
Right? I don't do that. But in certain circles, I may not be as willing to like actively, aggressively be like posturing my chest, right?
Yeah.
Because it may not be who they are. They would be like, man, made me start barking. And they're like, Danny, what the hell are you doing?
Right.
Why are you causing this trouble? And I'm like, I'm not causing this trouble. I'm making sure there's no trouble happening.
Well, see, that's where our like being in tune with our emotions, right?
Sure.
Like our emotions are going to tell us. And so that's why I've always been very reactive. It's taken a lot of self-discipline to become non-reactive, more responsive.
Sure.
And so you have to listen to what are these emotions telling you? What are these feelings telling you? Right? They're no different, right? They're just more intricate. They're more detailed. They're more nuanced pieces of information, right? And they don't define us. They shouldn't define us, but they should be informing us on how to react.
Sure.
Right? Like our brains are wired for safety. And so if we are feeling a particular emotion or a particular feeling, what is that really tying back to in the root of fight, flight, fawn, or freeze?
Right. Yeah, for sure. And we are not going to respond the same as everybody else or every other man, but we're for sure not going to respond. Like we can't put ourselves in the other gender's role either.
Right.
Like you can't do that. I can't personally do that. Like, the person who was listening, like I could never understand what they're going through.
No,
never. I could never understand. Misty and I have a relationship that we both know that when each other starts to get uncomfortable, we both know that it's time to like help each other, either one exit or like calm each other down and get those little imbalances that you're starting to feel off. When we were in Mexico, I get very protective.
Sure.
We're driving around and man, I am on high alert.
Right.
And I've got this smoking hot little American who sometimes has zero clue of her environment because she's around all these crazy guys who will defend her to the death on a moment's notice.
Yeah.
So what does that give her? It gives her the ability sometimes to just be like oblivious
To shut off.
to things, right? But then there's other times when I notice that she's very aware of her surroundings, and she knows that she doesn't want to like put me in a position where I may have to defend her.
Yeah.
You know,
that trust, like what I was going to say, you two have built a trust.
for sure.
And that trust has not just been, oh, hey, we're married and we automatically have that, right? No, that trust has been a incremental, consistent process that you've built over years, right? It's eroded in some places, but then it's been rebuilt stronger. Like for me, the measure of a good relationship is the ability to repair and build that trust.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you jump into a new relationship for me, and I think that's where I've been hesitant to really jump into relationships, is that it's been, I've without understanding, I've given people trust when perhaps they haven't earned it.
Sure.
When they haven't earned it. And when that trust has been destroyed, like the golden retriever that I am, I just kind of come back and I'm like, okay, this is all good.
Yeah.
But then eventually, you know, you hit that golden retriever enough and he kind of becomes the snarling dog that
doesn't want to do it anymore.
He doesn't want, I don't want to do it anymore.
Sure.
Right. And so once that trust has been betrayed or has eroded completely, and if it's non-existent, right, it's going to be difficult to kind of build on that.
Sure.
You know, to build that relationship.
Sure. You know, what's funny is like to go back to that whole idea of trusting and like relationship. I think we've talked about this before, that when there was a time like when you and I went to that concert where we both started to get a little uncomfortable with the guys that were like bouncing into us when we were at the reggae festival. We're like, we're supposed to be having fun here, but I'm kind of on edge here.
Yeah.
Because these guys are like, we weren't drinking as much as everybody else. And these dudes are bumping into us. These guys kept like walking past us. And I barked at that kid, hey, next time say excuse me.
Yeah.
And he kind of looked back at first and then he realizes, oh, sorry, excuse me. And then I'm thinking, maybe it's time to go.
Yeah.
And both of us at the same time were like, yeah, probably time to go. And we just have that trust with each other.
Yeah.
Of like, no, let's just remove ourselves from the situation.
Yeah.
And like you said, if you've betrayed that trust so many times and then still expect me to respond as I did when we had the trust, guess what? It's not there anymore.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone. And at some point, like, yeah, guess what? When we say meet me on the mat, it may not be like, let's go out and fight, but it may be like, no, this is a different negotiation.
Yep.
We may need to like discuss it a different way.
Yeah.
You can't talk about it like this. And I'm not giving you permission to talk like this. And when we set boundaries like that, it's just a boundary.
Yeah.
Like, I have my boundaries. You have your boundaries. And we know that, like, okay, that's where I live. You know, you're not going to push my boundaries. I'm not going to push yours. But when we smack hands and bump fists, maybe we negotiate a different way.
Yeah.
You know, and especially you and I and the men that we train with in our academy, you know, when a dude comes in grumpy.
Yep.
And you go, okay, today I'm going to have to kind of like be a little tougher. I'm going to have to be a little bit more durable. Yeah. I'm going to have to be a little bit more like, if I smack hands, bump fists, and this dude goes after me, I cannot lose my cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And that is a true thing. Like, we have that ability.
Yeah. We had that last Monday. Dearson came up to me. He's like, are you okay? Are you okay? Because I got the absolute
throttled.
I just got throttled by you know, an upper belt.
Yeah.
And I don't know necessarily, I'm not in tune enough for like, what am I doing to cause this behavior? And actually I pulled him aside after and he said, like, you know, have a plan. He actually just said, have a plan. I think he was more frustrated that like, I'm trying to make the round entertaining for this person because I don't really know how to handle the situation with this upper belt.
Yeah.
Like, I also don't want to be easy. I don't want to be like, I want to make it's his turn to train, like his time to train too, right? Yeah. Like, I could be timid or I could be, and so I don't really know how to carry myself with this person. He actually gave me some great advice. He's like, you don't have to win. It is going to make you tough as fuck, but like, have a plan, like, you know, just try to do a couple things, stick to a couple things. But it's always the same. Yeah.
Especially like in certain training environments at the academy, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're not saying to somebody, let's go fight on the mat.
Right. No.
And I want to make that clear. Like,
Right.
we are not saying let's go on the mat, come to the mat Sunday, you disagree with me, and let's knuckle up. No, it's kind of a facetious thing. Like,
Right.
we're joking, we're teasing a little bit.
Yes. There's
But
hyperbole.
when we go on the mat and you smack hands and you see across from you a monster who's grumpy, you better have a plan.
Yep.
And also you better have some durability inside of you to be
Yep.
like, hey man, this is just going to make me tougher. I do believe in that environment, it has benefited me in the fact that like I don't go looking for trouble.
No.
I don't.
No.
I don't go looking for trouble. I don't go looking for conflict.
Mm-mm.
I do want to sometimes like take jabs at people, take shots at people. I do sometimes want to make eye contact with somebody. And ensure that they see that I'm making eye contact with them, that they know that like this is not joking anymore.
Yeah.
You know, but for the most part, I think I've gotten a little bit better about
Yeah.
that, Tyler. And during this turmoil, and especially in the next couple of months of things where like my opinion and the way that I align may not agree with certain people.
Yeah.
I just have to give them grace and I have to be kind.
Absolutely.
And I have to like remember that like if it's a good relationship, then we'll get past this,
Right.
the ideas that we may not agree on. Right. And if it's not, then it's okay.
Yeah.
Like the relationship the relationship has reached its pinnacle and we move on.
Yeah. I used to say I had a PhD in talking shit. I love it. I really do. It's like one of my, I love chirping.
Yeah.
I love chirping. I got in a lot of trouble chirping on the lacrosse field, and it's a different world these days, right? Like it's in a controlled environment, like the lacrosse, pitch, or like the in wrestling or even jiu-jitsu, like, when you chirp your friends, when you chirp your buddies, like typically you have built a rapport with them.
Agreed.
And you're playing the same game.
Agreed.
Right? You both are carrying
I
guns.
agree with you.
Right. But anymore now, you're not sure when you start chirping that person if you're playing the same game.
And what they're going through in that moment either.
And maybe maybe that's what you are going for. Maybe you don't care. Maybe they've crossed a boundary and now you need to, stand on business. But I think right now more than ever, it's okay to just live and let live a little bit. Like just take a step back, take a breather.
I do believe that people use manipulation in order to get things that they want. Right. And if you're not careful and you don't see the manipulation of what they're doing, you could end up into something that you're not comfortable in, or an environment that you're not comfortable in. And now you've compromised your boundaries through their manipulation. And that happens a lot especially with guys. Like, man, like you see it a lot where like a guy gets manipulated into a situation and you're like, oh man, I could have seen that a mile away. But if I was in the moment, I may not have seen that. I may have been in the same situation as you.
Right. And what's really scary is that in today's world, we are such creatures of learning.
Mm-hmm.
Manipulation can be a learned habit.
Sure.
Not only can it be a learned habit, but like when you start disassociating from dysfunctional behavior, it becomes normal behavior. We normalize that behavior. And that's why people end up in therapy. And that's why people end up with anger management issues. And so, yeah, I think it's a wildly fascinating world in which we live in that we can adapt and evolve to all these different things.
Today's the State of the Union.
Oh yeah.
State of the Union address. So the next couple of days at work for me are going to be pretty crazy with everything that's going on. For all of our listeners and all of our friends, like we're not making challenges.
Yeah.
We're not making challenges that we're like going to go and like invite some non-training individuals to the mat just so that we can kick the shit out of them. Yes. We're not going around town looking for fights, driving with each other, looking for people to fight. Right? No, that's not what we're doing. We're just, it's just some, we thought it would be really awesome to say at the end of the podcast, like, hey, If you disagree with what we say, come shake hands, bump fists, let's go and
Let's
have
go.
fun. But more importantly, like we just want to get more people on the jiu-jitsu
We want to
match.
get, we want to get, and the thing of it is that like the people that are, I've always told people like I don't need to fight. If I want to go fight, I'll go roll jiu-jitsu. I get that out of my system
all the time.
Like if I'm, it's just out. It's out.
Well, and could you imagine? I mean, like seriously, could you imagine if somebody knew that you train jiu-jitsu and they don't, and you went to go tune them up? Their first instinct would be to defend themselves as much as they had to.
Right.
Especially a guy with crazy ears, crazy look in his eyes. Like,
right.
I can't tell you how many times like I'm talking to somebody and their eyes are looking at my ears like this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this person is 100% sizing the fact that I look the way that I look. And so usually I'm like, make sure that I'm like super calm, super mellow, super easygoing. I notice right away if a dude has ears, it's like, man, I ain't talking crazy to that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I have no idea.
No, I know. It's fun.
And you don't know if they have like a weapon on them.
Right.
And man, I don't want to deal with that. I would much rather go home at night. And so we do try to live in a moment of kindness.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about it all the time, right? Before we got on this podcast, we were like, you know, we had our little moment of like where we get together and we talk and we help each other out of what we're going through. And we always like end with like, hey man, we're not very far off from each other just because we're compassionate. Yeah. We are compassionate men. Yeah. We are. We have feelings. You can get to my feelings if you want to try. Mm-hmm. You can find where I tie my goat with my feelings. And if I care about you, cool. If I don't, then I'm probably a little upset at myself that I let you inside of my boundary. Yep. And you maybe tugged at my heartstrings or my anger strings, and I don't like those emotions. Yeah. But it happens. It's okay. Like, you know, we are who we are. We are strong men who are cheering for strong men. Yeah. We're not cheering for like guys that are just douchebags to people or really, really weak men who prey on people. Like, I'm not cheering for them. No. I understand that's how that is. Right. I'm not also trying to put myself in the position of a female. Right. But I will protect them as much as I can, like as much as I need to. I will protect them. I will do whatever it takes to make their life easier. Yeah. You know, and I know you're the same way. Like,
I take a really bad offense when specifically when I've been accused by women of even indicating violence. Like I've had an experience with domestic violence where I've intervened in a domestic violence situation, and that person credited me with saving her life. And so like to me, I know that when if you are using that against me, you are absolutely 100% trying to manipulate me.
Agreed. I agree with you. Yeah. And I've watched you stick up for people and stick up for your values and things, and you're still working on them. Yeah. And especially like as a divorced man. Yeah. You know, you have to like redraw who you are in society, right? Yep. And society doesn't give you a playbook of how you should live your life now.
Dude, the scariest thing to be right now is a white man with an opinion.
I know.
A man with an opinion, but then I'm going to add the white man with an opinion.
Yeah, blue eyes guy. Like, yeah. Don't shave your head.
Yeah. Not happening.
Yeah, dude. This was fun, man.
Yeah, no,
what
I
you got coming up?
Oh man, spring break. Yeah, we're heading Durango, Telluride, Ouray. Yeah. Ouray.
Yeah, Ouray.
Yep. I lived in Colorado. I can barely pronounce it. Yeah.
We're gonna go see Mesa Verde.
We're gonna try. I'm hoping I might need to bring some bolt cutters because if it's closed,
we're going.
I'm going.
Yeah. I remember like going to the base of the Mesa Verde stuff, and you read all the like, you know, little like creek runs through there, and you're walking on the path, and it's talking about like all the fish and how they caught the fish and how they got back up there to the top, you know, because their dwellings were so far up in the cliffs. Yeah. And I remember like being so like intrigued by that when I was a kid. Like I thought that was the coolest thing. Well, yeah, it's going to be a fun trip for you guys.
You probably went when they'd actually let you like crawl down in them. Yeah. I remember like being able to go in them, but I guess they don't do that anymore.
People go in there and start marking
swastikas and stuff.
Yeah, dude,
we're just the worst. Yeah. What about you? What do you got going on?
Braxton comes home Friday.
That's right. I saw that.
So
I'm switching for
stoked.
trips so he can
oh my gosh, dude,
have a day. Yeah.
So we have not seen him in just about 2 years. We're gonna meet Sheena and Braden, which is his girlfriend and her son. Their little small family that they're currently working on. See where they're going with their lives. It'll be the first time that we meet them. They've never been. He keeps reminding us that what we live, how we live, is going to surprise her. So don't be like caught off guard if she needs a moment to. So he comes home Friday. On Saturday, every one of my family member is coming up to our house to do a party, with some other people coming that he invited, and we're gonna have 30 plus people in my house. My house is good size, but it's not like that good size, dude.
Yeah.
And it's winter time. It's supposed to be
weather's
snowing.
not quite. Yeah,
It's not quite. Yeah, we can't go outside. Can't send the kids outside. But he's excited. They're coming home for 8 days. Yeah, I think he's just excited to show her the opportunity that they can have.
Yeah.
When he gets out.
Yeah.
She's never been over here. I'm really excited to go. So I'm going to pick him up from the airport. I'm really excited to see what they see, like how they look at what we see every day. We've talked about this. Like we see this every day.
Yeah.
Like we get jaded by the fact that like we see temp every day.
Yeah.
You get people to come here. You're like, look at that. People go, look at that fucking mountain. You're like, oh yeah, look at that mountain.
Yeah.
And like we see it every day. It's like we live in this beautiful valley that we bitch and moan about all the Californians and Arizonans and all these people that come in and ruin it.
Freaking Oregon.
Yeah, they just ruin it. But we're like, I'm excited to see what how they see it. I think that Sheena and Misty are going to get along really well, and Sheena's going to attach herself to Misty like most people do.
Yeah.
And I already told Braxton I don't think they're going to want to leave.
Yeah.
I think that Sheena and Braden are going to be like, cool, we'll see you when you come back.
When you come back.
We're here. Good, send our shit.
Yeah.
We're here.
You know the address.
Yeah, you know where it is. Yeah. See you when we see you. You come back whenever you want. We'll hang out here. I think that their relationship is moving along good. Braden's 14, I think. He's a baseball player, so I'm hoping to get with Nick Jackson.
Oh, cool.
Get him to the baseball academy.
Get some new batting cages that open up here too.
Yeah.
So
stoked.
cool. Sounds like a good time.
It'd be fun, man.
Yeah, I'm excited for you.
I'm excited. We have a lot of good stuff going on.
Nice.
Summer camp is coming up. July, I think it's 18th, 19th, and 20th. Don't mark me on those dates. There's going to be super fights on Friday. Should be a big announcement coming out this week. In the next couple of days, the main event should come out in the next couple of days.
Dang. Okay. Cool.
If you want to come see, come hang out with us, look onto my Instagram. You can usually find your way to Park City Jiu-Jitsu. Anthony, big shout out to Anthony. He's opening up his academy this week. I heard an open mat on Saturday.
That's what he said. That is what the J. What is it?
It's Temp Jiu-Jitsu Club.
TJJC. TJJ. I'm special.
So this will come out Friday. We're recording on Tuesday. This will come out Friday. It'll be the next day. So on
that Saturday
8th, I think is what they said. Open mat, and I think I read on the internet that classes start on Monday for them. So stoked for Anthony.
We got our belt test coming up this month.
Our belt test coming up on March 15th. Good luck to those guys. Grant and Chris. Yeah, those guys are great addition.
Dude, Grant has gotten so good.
Bro, that dude is that dude is bought in 100%.
He's gotten really good.
He told me this week he's trying to decide how to convince himself to go mountain biking, knowing that he could be at jiu-jitsu the way that it is. Like his life is like kind of revolving around jiu-jitsu, like how you do, like how it happens. Yeah. And so excited for them. And yeah, we just trying to grow the community, trying to build the community as much as we can. Both of us still just plugging away at the Park City, Lehigh. I went down to Lehigh Monday, trained with those guys. They're all getting really, really good. I know we're going to have some visitors in the next couple of days. Thursday night, this week,
Those all
Thursday.
be passed by that time, Matt?
Yeah, by then. But we're supposed to have some visitors coming in this weekend that I've trained with that are going to be really fun. So hopefully we get a good turnout for Thursday night. And then, yeah, man, life is just plugging along. I'm happy and stoked.
All right.
Yeah, dude.
Well, let's get back to it, man.
Yeah.
Let's let these guys go. Appreciate you checking in. Thanks for another episode. Appreciate you so much, brother.
Appreciate
Glad
you,
you're back.
Yeah. Stoked.
Cheers, everybody.
Later, bye.
Rise up, no turning back.